Gathering with family can be one of the best things about the holiday season. But studies also show that it can be one of the most stressful things too. And if you're experiencing it, I'm sure you don't need the studies to tell you that. So here are 3 tips to help you create a peaceful and joyful holiday experience with your family. Tip number 1 is to set healthy boundaries. Before the holidays, take some time to identify some potential stressors or conflicts, and then establish clear boundaries to help those family relationships be healthier. For example, agree to avoid certain topics that might lead to arguments. You probably know what those things are right away. Now communicate these boundaries lovingly and clearly, focusing on mutual respect. This is what one of our pastors on staff, Tyler, had to say about boundaries.
And I know the pushback for a lot of us when it comes to the idea of boundaries is like, ooh, it doesn't feel very nice. And the reason why it doesn't feel very nice is it doesn't feel very nice to them. But when we put this in place and we do this on purpose from a position of love, it allows that other person to grow. Because it's so clear, it provides freedom, they can grow, and it paves the way towards healing in that relationship. Again, this is hard, but what pain are we going to choose? Are we going to choose to do this? Or let that relationship continue to have that strain and be that full of tension and just be that tough? It's worth it to put a boundary up on purpose.
All right, tip number 2, prepare for difficult conversations. If there are unresolved issues, consider having a private, respectful conversation with the family member involved. Plan these conversations out ahead of time. Ensure they happen in a calm and a private setting, and approach them with a heart of reconciliation, seeking to understand and be understood. This is how Tyler described this.
And what Jesus did was he gave of himself for us so that we can have a relationship with him, which means we give of ourselves for others to have a healthy relationship with others. We've been describing it like this. Imagine yourself to be in this relational tug of war with this other person where you're trying to pull them over to your side to get them to do what you want them to do. Well, if we follow the example of Jesus, we don't engage in this relational tug of war. Instead, what we do is we drop the rope, and in humility, we go to their side, we give of ourselves, and as a result, it leads the way towards healthy relationships.
Tip number 3, practice love and humility. Approach family interactions with the mindset of Jesus. This means giving of yourself, show grace, and prioritize the relationship over being right. Be willing to listen actively and empathize with others, even if you disagree.
And here's what Jesus says when it comes to establishing these boundaries with other individuals. He says this to some of his followers. He says, if your brother sins against you, notice he uses the word brother. Jesus is saying this because he wants this to lead towards a healthier relationship. He says, if your brother sins against you, go and show him his fault. Show how this behavior is impacting you. And do this all over social media and all over the comments so the entire world has to see it. He doesn't say that. He says, do this just between the two of you. Because the goal is to lead towards a healthier relationship. So show him and set up this boundary between the two of you. And if he listens, you have won your brother over, meaning, hey, this can pave the way towards a healthier relationship.
Your family gatherings over the holidays don't have to be as stressful. By setting boundaries, preparing for difficult conversations, and practicing humility, you can create healthier and more meaningful family relationships this holiday season. Now, we know that the holidays can be full of stress, so we've put together a free resource for you. 9 tips to help you handle the stress of the Christmas season. It's totally free, and we'd love to email it to you. You can find a link to that in the description. I hope you do that, and have a very Merry Christmas.